now we have Todd Rauch,
Yes.
who is running for District 38 Alabama House.
Yes, sir.
And are you impressed that I got the last name pronounced correct?
I'm very impressed, but
I got it down.
I expect it.
Well, when you're in my phone, I spell it Rauk to help me out.
I understand. I do the same thing.
Do you really?
No.
All right, so listen, let's talk. 2 weeks, 14 days, June 5th primary.
Yes, sir.
Alabama House 38, which is a huge area, an area that impacts, let's just call a spade, it impacts Chambers and Lee. For the most part. Mm-hmm. At least 50% of Chambers County.
Yes, sir.
So what are you hearing out there?
I think what people want is someone that's going to be a voice. Someone that's going to answer their phone calls whenever they call you. Someone that whenever they have an issue, they can go to your office and they can sit down and talk, and that you're going to have the time, attention, and dedication to not only listen, but to take up that fight for them in Montgomery. That's a big part of it. Yes, sir.
That's a huge part. There's so many issues, and we have been on this campaign, which seems like a long time. We're coming to the end of it. To me, politics, the last 2 weeks of an election, that's when it's all about the issues.
Right.
We're past all the other, can I get you a shirt? We're past all that now. So we're down to the issues. What are the issues in this Alabama House 38 race?
So it's kind of a, it's kind of a loaded question, because one issue to one person may not be the same issue to another person. Right. And we had the Smith Station Forum last night, and our race was featured in that forum. And I told people, I was like, the issues that I care about are not important.
Right.
It's your issues.
Because you want to be their representative for their issues in Montgomery.
Right.
Okay.
And it's their issues are my issues. Their voice is my voice that I take to Montgomery. Right. One of those, what I hear in the community is accountability with the budget, to make sure that people people know that the budget, there has to be taxes. People understand that a lot of money is moved around in the government to pay for education, to pay for infrastructure, to pay for prisons, to pay for Medicare. They want to make sure that you can explain to them exactly what it's going to be used for. Not only that, but also that you're going to follow through with what you're talking about. If you're going to say, I'm going to address my issue, this is how I'm going to address it, they want to make sure that that's exactly what you're going to do. They want that integrity in that seat, and that's important to them.
Well, sure, absolutely. Has there been one particular issue over some of the others, as far as voters that are asking you, what about this?
Right.
Are you going to support this? Are you going to do this? Is there anything that stands out?
Right. There's two things, actually, because we all watch the news. And a lot of times they'll ask you about some of the social issues, like Second Amendment. Now, I'm a big Second Amendment supporter, but they want to know, in last session there was a bill brought up by Will Ainsworth of arming the teachers. Yeah. So they want to know where you stand on the Second Amendment, where you stand on arming the teachers. They also want to know what you think about the gas tax, the gasoline tax that was proposed a couple years ago. It's probably going to be one of the very first things they vote on in the new session.
That's a big issue. I get the Second Amendment. I do. I don't know, as representative, if that's going to be a glaring vote or issue or what's coming up. You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
I think every single session, Second Amendment always comes up. In this past session, they voted whether to allow guns in churches. And with the school shootings, they're going to vote on whether we're going to allow retired law enforcement officers to become school resource officers, or to allow veterans to become school resource officers, or should we allow teachers to be able to conceal carry, or do we require them to go through a certain amount of hours of training to have those to be able to carry in a school?
Wild.
So it comes up every single session, one way or another.
Well, no doubt. I mean, it's a national conversation. It's a national debate. Which way you stand on it?
Right.
I don't know. People that ask me my opinion on this is to me it's pointless. It's almost like arguing LeBron versus Jordan, who's better. because the Second Amendment is written in stone.
Right.
And I don't see it changing. I don't. Now, I can see one day, and I don't know if it's coming tomorrow or the next day, whenever, or years from now, I can see a modification, perhaps. But I don't see it changing. I just don't.
Yeah,
I don't see it changing.
It won't change. With our Bill of Rights, with our Constitution, there are certain God-given rights,
and that's one of them.
Second Amendment is one of them, and that's the way I see it. Our Second Amendment rights shall not be infringed, and that's what I stand for.
But now we talk about like a modification to that, with whether it's arming, letting a school teacher go through the classes, or having a veteran, or having an off-duty police officer there. I can see some conversations on that happening soon.
Right, and I think that's what they want to talk about. The way, whenever I'm knocking on doors and I talk to people, and if I'm standing at a door and there's a school teacher, and she's like, where do you stand on arming the teachers?
Right.
And both my wife and I, we both have our concealed carry permits. I conceal carry all the time, and I think it's crazy that Sheriff Jay Jones or Sheriff Sid Lockhart cannot go up to the State House in Montgomery and still be able to carry their sidearm inside. They have to either leave it locked in their car or leave it at their office.
Right.
And if you're going to be having this conversation, I believe it's the legislator's responsibility to say,
that's where you stand on that.
Are we walking the walk and talking the talk?
Right.
So if we're not allowing these sheriffs be able to carry in the State House, but we're sitting here discussing about guns in schools,
right.
If you have a concealed carry permit, and if you're, I think that you should be able to protect yourself at any time and the people around you.
Okay, so aside from that, what other issue are you hearing?
So the gas tax is,
right.
of course, is a big one. People really want accountability. They want to know exactly how much the gas tax is going to be. They want to know how long the bond is going to be for. They want to make sure, and my big thing is to make sure that District 38 is represented. A couple years ago, the County Commission Association of Alabama put up a bill that was actually a really, really good bill. It was really well written. It had a sunset clause in it. It had a tax increase after a certain amount of years, a cents that would go up after a couple years, and ultimately it would cost each person that drives $3.50 a month extra for this gas tax. But there was that them and us, Democrat, Republican. There was some pushback from either side. There was also Republicans that said in 2014 when they ran, "I will never raise your taxes." So that really came back to bite them in the butt.
Right.
That, and we also have to look at Medicaid. Medicaid is a huge issue in the state of Alabama.
And that's also something that a lot of people are probably concerned.
Right, and
they're probably concerned because, and you know what, they should be concerned.
Yeah,
they should be immensely concerned.
And there are some things that we use for certain programs like Medicaid. That BP oil spill money.
Correct.
That's no longer going to be available. That's dried up, no pun intended.
Right.
But so we have to make sure that we have people in there that are not only able to sit there and look at the budget effectively and say where do we need to cut,
right.
But be able to look at some of these earmarked money spending line items that have been there for a long time that no longer needed to be earmarked, so that we can effectively move money around to be able to pay for some of these programs. But the most important thing is to be able to come back to the district and explain to everyone exactly what's going on. That's what people want. They want integrity, they want accountability, and they want that communication.
So, do you feel that there's a little bit of a, not so much with the candidates, but do you feel, just from a Montgomery perspective, there's a little bit of a lack of trust?
Absolutely.
I mean, let's be clear. We have gone through a hit list.
Yeah.
Whether it's going back to former Governor Robert Bentley, whether it's going back to former Speaker of the House Mike Hubbard,
Right.
Do you think, how does that, a little bit of lack of trust in the voters' minds, how does that affect you as a candidate?
I think from a state backdrop perspective, yes, there is that lack of trust. I think from a District 38 perspective, I think there's less of that. One thing that Isaac Horton has done incredibly effectively, and this is something that I'm 100% will carry on and do, is when legislation's in session, to sit there and on Facebook, he said, these are the bills that's getting brought up, and people discuss it.
Correct.
And it's so informative. It's comparative to how Trump uses Twitter. And I know
It
that
is.
might sound crazy, but it really does. It really does. I'm, friends with Isaac on Facebook.
Right.
And whenever he's in session, it really does make you feel like you're sitting in his seat.
Well,
Now-
it's like I told him yesterday. I talked to Isaac yesterday, and I said, you being in Montgomery, you were my connection to Montgomery.
Exactly.
Montgomery's not around the corner from me. Now, it's a 45-minute drive for me, or 55 minutes. Yeah, can I go there? Yes, absolutely. And, I'm friends with William Ainsworth, great guy. And there's so many great people that I have had a privilege of knowing and becoming friends with up there. Yes, I can go there.
Right.
It's not always as accessible for me to take a ride to Montgomery every Tuesday or every Wednesday. So you as a representative, you are my connection to Montgomery.
Right.
And I don't know what's happening inside the work session. I don't know what's happening on the legislative process, but that's where you come in.
Right, exactly.
That representative for District 38, where I live, where I reside, you're my connection. So I think that's an issue that they say, I need to trust you to keep me informed about issues that affect me.
Right.
Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. June the 5th
June 5th.
is coming up.
13 days in a wake up.
June the 5th is coming up.
So-
I wanted to, because I know you have almost, and I feel like you're probably in the back of your mind saying, I probably need to live in Chambers County. I can tell the impression it's made on you.
I was talking to Ashley Crane the other day, and she asked me, she's like, so when are you going to buy a house here?
See?
And I
See
told
there?
her, I was like, the people that I've met, at first when District 38 incorporates parts of Lee and parts of Chambers, and I was like, wow, that's difficult, because there is the them and us kind of mentality.
Right.
But I see there's a very unique opportunity to not just focus on one county, but to get the perspective of two. And that really does help you be a better representative.
Someone was asking me, there was like, okay, so, they always say, well, who are you going to support and do that? And I said, at the end of the day, I am a shameless recruiter and promoter of Chambers County. I can't help it. That's just who I am. Gary Fuller, Mayor of Opelika, you know what he's going to come every day he's coming to me? He's got that, that soft voice. Hey, Gator. I'm just like, hey, Gary. And he just said, I'll say you Chambers County, because he knows I'm Chambers County. So this has been a phenomenal race. We got 2 weeks to go. And Katie can testify to this. I'm about to give her some news. I just may have come up with the X factor to get you to Chambers County.
Okay.
Taco Bell's going to be open up on Monday.
That's it. I ate Taco Bell this morning, so now I can
Kevin
get on
Dunn,
my
that's
way
what
out.
we call a done deal. Right there.
That's what I've been asking for. You
Did I
give me
close it
Taco
out?
Bell.
Did I close it out?
That's it.
Todd, thank you, brother. And listen, I appreciate
appreciate
it.
it.
June the 5th, primary runner for Alabama House 38. Find him on Facebook.
Yes, you can find me on Facebook, Todd Rauch, or you can go to our website. It's toddrauchforalabama.com. My last name is spelled Rauch.
Fantastic. He is in the June 5th primary. Get out there and vote. Listen, have a great day. Don't forget later on this afternoon that Kevin Dunn will be coming to you with news you can use here on WJCN.